Hi, James with the 1HourSmartHome.com, and today we're going to compare the Sonos Beam soundbar to the Sonos One speaker. Both of these speakers are relatively new to the Sonos lineup. The biggest difference between these two speakers is that the Sonos Beam is designed to be a Sonos Playbar or Sonos TV bar speaker. So this sound bar goes underneath your TV and it actually connects via HDMI connection, and then it's going to allow you to both stream music or use your HDMI audio output from your TV to play music on the sound bar. And it is a big upgrade from most TVs in terms of sound, and you're going to find that this is a lot crisper, a lot clearer, and it has a couple of different little settings that allow you to tweak it while you're watching it. So you can turn up like the voice audio, and you can also set it in nighttime mode. So if there's any like loud crashes or booms and you're watching TV and you don't want to disturb the other people in your house, you can use that setting on the Sonos Beam, which I really like. Now, what's cool about both of these speakers is in terms of interfaces, they're almost identical. If you look at the top here, they both have a volume up and down button. Right here, volume up, volume down. They have a pause play button, and they also have a mute button right here. And both of them have microphones built in and speakers, obviously. But what's really neat about it is that you have Alexa. You can use Alexa voice assistant, Google voice assistant, with either of these. You can use either Google Home or Alexa voice assistant with these. You just pick which one you want to use in the app, which means that you can control both of these with voice commands by saying things like, Alexa, play the music, or Alexa, turn on my TV. If you have the Sonos Beam, it does let you turn on your TV with your voice, which I think is really cool if your TV is compatible and you have it connected through the HDMI. So you can control all of your smart home devices as well with these, and then it eliminates the need for a separate Alexa device if you have a Sonos One or a Sonos Beam, because you've got that microphone built in, you've got the speaker built in, and it will work just like an Alexa or a Google Home. It's just a software service that is installed over top of the hardware. The other nice thing about both of these speakers is that they are AirPlay 2 compatible or HomeKit compatible, which means that these will work directly with your iPhone, so you can control it with Siri commands. And there's a couple other things that you can do with HomeKit devices and your Apple phone. What is nice about that is if you have one of these AirPlay 2 enabled Sonos speakers in your Sonos system, and you even have older Sonos speakers, it will allow your older Sonos speakers to be AirPlay 2 capable, as long as this is part of the network, because it can broadcast that signal through the Sonos network, through Sonos Wi-Fi and web services and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's a nice feature if you want to have a HomeKit compatible sound system and you don't have one right now and you already have Sonos speakers. You could add either one of these two and they will work. Obviously, a big difference between the two is the size. The Sonos One is smaller than the Sonos Beam, and that's primarily because this is designed to be a playbar. This is designed to be a speaker. One thing I have noticed about this is that this is much more directional than the Sonos One. So if you were looking to put this in a bedroom and you didn't have it hooked up to a TV, you would kind of want to direct the sound where you wanted it to go. So like if you wanted to hear the sound while you're laying in bed, you would want to put it across from you in bed, because it's more directional. It's a cone shape going out. Whereas the Sonos One seems to fill up a room more. It is somewhat directional, but it is much better at just filling a room with sound non-directionally than this is. You would notice this big difference if you had this placed to the side and not directly in front of you. Now there is Sonos TruePlay tuning, which is available for both of these speakers, which does help tune the specific room. So you rock around with your iPhone and it allows you to tune the sound per your room based on the microphone input from your Apple phone, which is a really neat feature, and it does make a big difference. I have all my speakers TruePlay tuned, and that's just a cool, neat feature that Sonos has that a lot of other devices don't have. As far as the hardware goes, The Sonos Beam is louder than the Sonos One, that is for sure, but it is more directional, and it's meant to go with a TV. But it has one tweeter and 4 woofers and 3 passive radiators, versus the Sonos One only has 1 woofer and 1 tweeter. So obviously you're gonna have more speakers, more depth, I guess I would say, in this, and louder sound. If you live in an apartment or condo and you turn this thing all the way up, it is incredibly loud and you're probably going to annoy your neighbors. I pretty much only ever listen to this at like 30%, and a lot of times even just like 15 or 10% volume, because it is really loud. And the nice thing I've noticed with Sonos speakers, either one of these, is you never really get crackly sound, or like you can't turn it up so high that the volume or sound quality starts to degrade. Really, the only time I've ever experienced crackly sound is if you have a bad internet connection. And that can do it just because your streaming service isn't providing enough bit rate to the speakers, or you just don't have a good internet connection. I would say most people are never going to have that issue. It was a day that we had poor internet services from our provider, and that is the only day that I've ever noticed poor sound quality with either one of these, and it was just a matter of the internet was super slow. The Sonos One, I would say this is, obviously you can't connect it to a TV unless you have a Sonos Beam. Then you can connect the Sonos Beam with 2 Sonos Ones or 2 Sonos Play Ones in a surround sound setup. So you would have this right underneath the TV as a play bar, and you would have these two kind of like behind you or to the side of you where you wanted to have your surround sound, so you have a left and right channel. And I do have that set up in my house, and I love that configuration. It is a great surround sound setup. It's not true like 7.1, obviously. There's some things they do with it, but to most people and most listeners, you're never going to notice that it's not that true 7.1 Dolby Digital sound. It really is good sound quality, and the ease of use of the Sonos system kind of outweighs all the other things that you would have to do to have surround sound with wireless speakers or wiring additional wires and all kinds of stuff like that. So I do like this as a surround sound system. It really does provide a lot of noise, and I love watching like there's certain sports programs and stuff that will have like good surround sound with it, and it is pretty cool. You kind of feel like the crowd's there, you're at the game. I really like that feature of the surround sound system with the Sonos Beam and Sonos One. So what I was originally trying to say is the Sonos One, you can't use it with a TV unless you have a Sonos Playbar or a Sonos Beam like this one. So I do have the Sonos Beam and I have the Sonos Ones connected to it as a surround sound pair. So that might be a disadvantage to some people. Another cool thing about the Sonos Beam is that you can have it connected to your TV, and you could mute the TV sound, but you could then play music over it. So maybe you're watching a sports game and your favorite team is losing. You don't necessarily want to hear the commentary. You could just play music while you're watching the game. I've done that a couple times. I do like that feature, and that is a nice feature. When you have these connected, you can control them separately when you don't have them in a surround sound setup. When you have them in a surround sound setup, they all work together. So it's all one room and one controllable area rather than 3 separate speakers if you have it in surround sound. The Sonos One, I would say, is great for a bedroom, an office, maybe even your kitchen. Like a room that's maybe like 15 by 15. Anything smaller than that is perfect, and ceiling up to like 9 to 12 feet. You know, they can go in much larger rooms and they still are going to provide great sound, but once you get like 25, 30 feet away, it's going to start to deteriorate, where it's much louder near the speaker and much quieter, and you might need to add a second Sonos. But that is the beauty of Sonos speakers. You can add multiple Sonoses very easily. You just plug them in. You could also use built-in Sonos speakers, or you could use a system where you have this at your TV, and then you have the Sonos One spaced out apart as surround sound, and that could fill up a room really nicely in terms of sound and just sound quality. So like 15 by 15 room, that would do pretty good. If you've got lower ceilings, you could maybe go bigger, or if you have a longer room, you could definitely do that as well. That True Play tuning does help a lot with both of these speakers. In terms of price, obviously the Sonos Beam is more expensive. It's got more hardware, more components in it. The Sonos One is typically less expensive, and you can find this on deals a lot of time. You can find both of them on deals. You got the HDMI port. if I was deciding which one I was going to get, if I was going to get just a standalone speaker for like a bedroom, I would probably just go with the Sonos One. Now, if I was going to have a TV in there, I would go with the Sonos Beam just because I like the versatility of the TV. I do like being able to have voice control of the TV. So you can change channels, change the volume, turn on and off your TV with your voice using Alexa and the Sonos Beam, which I think is really cool. So like you can put this underneath your TV in your bedroom if you do that, and be able to turn it on and off with your voice and wouldn't have to look for the remote when you're tired and want to go to sleep. So that's a really nice feature of the Sonos Beam. The Sonos One, just as a speaker for a room, exceptional, provides exceptional sound quality. Both of these provide exceptional sound quality. For whatever reason though, I have noticed that it does feel like these Sonos, if you have two Sonos Ones, they have a little bit deeper bass than the Sonos Beam. I don't know why, that could just be my ears, but it does feel that way. That's not to say that the Sonos Beam has bad bass. It doesn't. It has great bass. It really has good depth when you've got it connected to a TV, and it works really well. It's just something I've noticed. If you feel the weight of these, and I know you can't feel it, proportionally, this does feel not as heavy as this. Right, so obviously it's like 2-3 times the size of this speaker. It doesn't weigh 2 or 3 times the size. I don't know why that is, the packaging or how the speakers are spaced out or the electronic components, whatever it is. But just something that I've kind of noticed. There are a lot of cool mounts for this, so you can mount them right underneath your TV and then hide the cords and stuff like that. And I really like that system for this. With this, you can also find mounts, but this looks a lot slicker underneath the TV than these do next to a TV, but you can still hide these and mount them wherever you want and all that stuff. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about the Sonos Beam or the Sonos One, please ask them down below. I try and get to those comments every once in a while and give you guys the information that we may have missed in this review or this video. Thanks for watching. If you want to support us, please subscribe. Click any links below, like this video, or visit us at onehoursmarthome.com. Thank you.